and I developed it. And once I developed the first couple recipes, I really enjoyed it. It was very fun to experiment in the kitchen. My tasters initially were my neighbors and my kids' friends. So when I came up with, let's say, lemon thyme, I'd have 3 or 4 varieties. I'd bake them up, very scientific. I'd put them in Ziploc bags and I'd hand them out to the neighbors with an A, B, C, and D, like on a Sharpie on the bag, and my kids' friends. And I told them they could have them, but they needed to tell me which ones they liked and why. And they were all my initial tasters.
And that's the best, right? No honesty like a kid.
Exactly. Exactly.
This tea's gross.
Exactly.
So if you really want brutal honesty, definitely give it to a kid. So how many different varieties do you have today?
I think it's 21, and I'm hesitating
Wow.
because we have 13 like original flavors, and then 8 of those are now offered in a gluten-free. We also have a few flavors that come and go. We have Boo Bars that are only out for Halloween. And then we have a Passover friendly line of 4 flavors that we only make within 2 weeks of Passover, and they all have to be pre-ordered. So there's a couple that come and go. Other than that, all the flavors are available all year long. We tried in the beginning, like we only had chocolate peppermint in the for the holidays and lemon in the spring, but people really want all the flavors all year long. And
Yeah.
so you can order them all year long. You can order a box that has a couple different flavors mixed. You can customize that. So
That's really great. And do you have like a cadence of when you try or test out new flavors or launch a new flavor?
it won't, I can tell you, we will not launch between October 15th and January 15th because that's
That
really such
definitely
a
makes
busy
sense.
time. Yeah. So new flavors would be tried out probably in the spring and the summer. We haven't introduced a new flavor in a couple of years because our other flavors have been so popular and we've been so busy, although we're thinking about a few new flavors.
Nice, nice. Um, have you noticed any specific trends, excuse me, trends in the corporate gifting landscape regarding sweets or food? I feel like there's so many different things that come up. And with your sweet bars being so, you know, different, it's a cross between, it's not your average sweet when you think of what you're getting in a gift box, or you're not, an average cookie. Have you seen any other trends that were pretty interesting, or maybe things that didn't last that long?
Well, a couple trends. I've seen that people are liking things like Subars because they ship so easily. Rather than sending chocolate, I know a lot of chocolate companies won't ship during certain months of the year because it's too hot.
Mhm.
Ours can be kept at room temperature and they ship easily. And a trend I've seen since the pandemic is before the pandemic, offices would sometimes order several of our larger boxes, put them out in the kitchen or the mailroom, wherever people congregated, and they would come in, grab 1 or 2 with their cup of coffee and go back. Post-pandemic, corporations are more cognizant, I think, of that quote, sharing the food. And so they'll buy smaller, like 3 packs or 8 packs where people can do a grab and go. So some offices will order several 3 packs where if people are still in the office, they can just grab a 3 pack, take it back to their office or eat it there, but there's no fear of them touching food that somebody
Right.
else may be touching, even as careful as people can be, or 8 packs. So there's been a trend towards having more individual packages. Also, so a lot of it did change in the pandemic. Before the pandemic, all gifts were really sent to offices. So a lot of client gifts, yeah, were usually sent to those offices. So let's say you had a large law firm or a large consulting company. A lot of times they would send it to their clients' offices. Post-pandemic, a lot of times they're being sent to homes or they're using gift cards so that the recipient can then go online and decide where they would like to have it sent.
That's really cool, and really nice. And, it seems like the personalization part of it is so big for you guys. Um, with those notes, are you having the sender send you the note, or are you recreating what they want? Because I know you said that they're
We
signing it and stuff as well. So that's pretty
We're
interesting.
signing their name. We're
Okay.
signing. Okay. It can go both ways, actually. I do have a couple of my corporate clients that like to do their own notes, and they have, they're monthly clients. So they'll send out, let's say 20 or 30 or 40 gifts a month.
Mhm.
So they'll send me all the note cards for that month in advance. There's that option. the other option is they just let us know what they want the note to say, and we do the handwritten note. And anyone who orders, even if a person goes on to order one box to send to their aunt, let's say, they can always let us know that they want the handwritten note. It's all included in the price, and we just do the handwritten note. So it's not just for the corporate gifting. Even the personal gifting gets the same attention and the same service.
Nice. And are there any sustainability practices that you integrate into your production or packaging? Or are there any, you know, corporate give backs or, associations that you try to associate yourself with or work with for, different things or community service, stuff like that?
Yes, to all of that. So sustainability, we're very cognizant of our packaging, and we're not and not including anything unnecessary in the package and not over packaging. So because it's a food item, it all comes in a food safe box, which is then put into another box, but the dimensions are intentional so that there's not going to be a lot of space where you need to fill it with bubble wrap or anything like that. Like everything is very sleek, because I don't want to, we all get packages that you get something at home. Let's say it's, a pen, but it's somehow in this, a big box with all this extra packaging, because that's just how they do it. We're very cognizant of that. Giving back, we are always giving back to the community in many different ways. During the pandemic, we gave a lot to healthcare providers. We actually employed a lot of unemployed Angelenos in like the restaurant business, hair salons. Like in the beginning, when everything shut down, we decided to do all of our local deliveries actually delivered versus overnight shipping. And so rather than paying for the overnight shipping, I gave that money to unemployed people in the community that would do it. And they just come in the morning, pick them all up, and leave them on people's doorsteps. It was actually really fun, because
Yeah.
everyone loves getting, something left on their door.
And that's so nice and such a innovative and different way to give back and help others and
It
give
was it
people
was
a
great.
purpose. People feel useful.
Right. They did. And it was great. And I remember like in the beginning, when the pandemic started, nobody knew anything. Like I would have my mask on. This person that I was going to do the deliveries have a mask on. I'd kind of leave it in the front yard right when they pulled up. I'd go back, stand in my doorway. They'd get out of the car. They'd grab, we were so nervous about it all, but I really wanted help. And I really did like that, because they were just sitting home. People were feeling useless. I think you're right. Um, and then through the years, we've given back and partnered with several organizations. We're always kind of having one either happening or on the back burners. We've partnered with Everyday Action, which takes a lot of extra food from television and movie sets around LA and repurposes it to the unhoused rather than having it get trashed. We've worked with Oscar Litwack Foundation, which works with hospitals and sick kids by both making donations and donating product to healthcare workers. We've worked with Glisten LA. We've worked with Shoshet. We've worked with a lot of different
That's so
organizations.
nice. It's really
It's been
amazing.
great.
I'm very happy to hear that. And it's so nice to also share your success with others. Not only are you getting your product out there, but you're doing good with your product, which always makes you feel even better, an additional purpose.
I agree. And you know what? I've been really lucky. Like I was able to transition from one successful career to another. It's not easy. And my community really helped me. I mean, I had friends and friends of friends and just people who really are kind and really supportive. And then again, the pandemic. During the pandemic, when I saw orders come through that would be, let's say, from an individual sending something to their grandparents' neighbors saying, I can't visit my grandparents because they're out of state or whatever, but thank you for dropping groceries off, or thank you for checking on them. Like
Yeah.
people really being so appreciative and so grateful that it just reminded me how good people are. And I just wanted to continue giving back. And it's, everyone loves sweets. And so I want to share the success I've had with my business.
Well, I love that. And it's definitely something to be proud of. And I'm sure that, people are grateful for that every day. So thank you for doing that. What have been some of the challenges that you faced entering this industry and some of the lessons that maybe you've learned in figuring out, how to overcome those trials and tribulations to get to the success?
I mean, there's been a lot. I really honestly didn't know what I was doing. I kind of launched it thinking it would, I mean, I did a little bit of research and I shadowed someone with a similar business, but I really didn't know what I was doing. So there have been challenges along the way. I mean, one challenge was the scaling, and part of that was an internal challenge because I was scared to go to a different kitchen. I was scared to step outside my comfort zone. And the way to get through that was just reminding myself that I really wanted to kind of grow and share the sweetness and kind of expand my business. And I couldn't do that out of my house. Like, it just, there was only so many Subars you can bake in a 24-hour period. Other challenges have been shipping. Shipping has kind of been a challenge from the beginning. I don't think I thought through that shipping is costly. And we've tried different shipping models. Now we have a flat rate shipping and then free shipping after a certain amount. But in the beginning, I didn't have that. And it was very challenging because I think a lot of consumers are used to free shipping now. You know, it's
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. And when you have shipping with small businesses, there's a little bit of a hesitancy there. But I think I've reached a really good middle ground on shipping. Other challenges during the pandemic, there was a lot of challenges getting supplies. And we
Yeah.
actually pull one of our flavors, which is very popular, the white chocolate raspberry, uses freeze-dried raspberries, which were impossible to come by. And there was a lot of issues during the pandemic with shortages. But you know what? We just took the products down and put them back up, and people really understand.
Yeah. I mean, that was such a crazy time for everybody. I think the fact that you were able to still be in business and sustain business and figure out a way to get your products to the people that needed them and wanted them most, is amazing. So I think people definitely understood that there had to be some limitations and some things that just didn't work out. But they stuck with you, and I'm sure they came back and ordered those flavors once they were back up and running. And good thing it was only for a short period of time. There were so many businesses that didn't make it through the pandemic, so we also have to be
And
grateful for that as well.
I'm very grateful for that. And I think, honestly, having an online presence before the pandemic really helped. I think
Yeah.
if I would have had to scramble and get that done during the pandemic, it would have been hard. But I am very grateful. I know that I am lucky that I've been around for almost 8 years. It continues to grow, and I'm really grateful to everyone who helps support Subarzsweets.
Are the products available anywhere else aside from your website?
There's a couple retail locations locally in California, but generally it's through the website.
Mhm.
So yeah, because most people send them as gifts, and
Right.
since I ship as much to New York as I do to areas in Los Angeles. So most of, probably 98% of our sales are online.
Nice. That's awesome. Can you also share maybe a success story that you've experienced with a corporate order or something very memorable that you feel will always stick with you?
I think it is a success story was probably the 2022 holidays, is I had probably my largest order. It was several, I think it was a couple thousand boxes
Wow.
to one client, and it was crazy. And I actually wasn't sure how we were going to do it all because that was at a much bigger scale than what we did. And my husband, our friends were like, just do it. You'll figure it out. And we did. But it was crazy. It was thinking about in a different way. That was the first time, so that was about 14 months ago, that I wasn't in the kitchen overseeing and working with them on the product. I had to trust them that they would get the products made the way I wanted them. And it worked out fine. And then I realized with an order of that size, we needed a limit. Not every box could be custom. Like, we'd have 4 or 5 choices. It couldn't be that every recipient could customize 2 or 3 flavors. We had to streamline that a little bit.
Yeah.
But